Hi, my name is Collin Smith, and I will be talking about how to maintain long-distance relationships. And this topic became very important to me throughout my college career, as I had different friends go to different colleges and had other friends start their careers in different cities, and even being away from my own family at a different college at one point. This isn't just about romantic partners. This can also be about a friendship, a family member, a peer, mentor, etc. So my hypothesis is that long distance relationships can be maintained as long as both parties know each other's wants and needs. So I conducted a survey as my research method, and I sent out a survey to a bunch of different people that had different questions about long distance relationships, because I wanted to get different people's takes on what they do to maintain their own long distance relationships. And so it had one of my first questions was, when you see this survey, who's like the first person that pops into your head? And that's who I wanted them to talk about, because if they were the first person to pop in your head, they were probably one, if not the most important person. So I was expecting most people to talk about romantic partners, but I did have a few people talk about family members, and I had a couple talk about a peer, and a couple talk about friendships. And then my next question was, what is your main form of communication? And my results for that one did not surprise me that much. I expected FaceTiming and calling to be the main form of communication, because it is the best way to communicate when you can't have the face-to-face contact. Coming in second was texting, which I assumed would be the second best. The only bad thing about texting is if there's like a conflict or maybe just something that's unresolved, texting is really not the way to go, because you can't like see the person or hear their tone when you are texting. And then the third option I had was using other forms of social media. With the rise of social media the past 10, 15, 20 years, everyone is easily accessible, and I wanted to see if there were people that use those other forms as their main. And I did have a few say that they did use the other forms of social media, and I'm talking about like Instagram, X or Twitter, playing video games with them, Snapchat, any of them. So those results did not surprise me that much. And then my next question, how much on average do you talk per day? This one did surprise me a little bit, since I was expecting people to think of it as like a romantic relationship. I was expecting more answers of talk on and off all day. I have under an hour, 1 to 2 hours a day, over 3 hours, or talk on and off all day. And so talk on and off all day was tied with around 1 to 2 hours, which I was just expecting more people to say they talked on and off all day. And then I actually had a couple say they only talked for under an hour a day, which I did find surprising. But they could be talking about a family member or a peer and things like that. So I guess it shouldn't be that surprising. My data analysis, the people in the survey, like I said prior, this wasn't just about a romantic relationship. So the people in the survey could have been talking about romantic, friendship, peer, mentor, family member, whatever. And then most preferred FaceTiming and calling, and then texting second, using social media third. And then the amount they talk varies, and that is all dependent on the relationship. Every relationship is different, and that's something I found in my research, is that everyone's wants and needs are different. So one relationship could be you don't talk at all, and that's fine, and then once you meet up again, it's like you never skipped a beat. And then there's some relationships where it's like, okay, we need to talk a good amount for one of the people to be satisfied within the relationship. So that is all varies on the relationship itself. And then my results, unfortunately, couldn't be as accurate as I wanted them to be, as I couldn't get enough people to answer my survey, or as many people as I wanted to answer my survey. But with the responses I did get, I was able to, or it shows different ways to maintain the relationship, even though I didn't get the right amount of people that I wanted. And the top answers were honesty, having honesty, trust, communication, using humor, and having openness, which is, I'd say, is probably the top 4 or 5 things that I would expect. And then with my conclusion, like I said, without the right amount of responses, I can't say it as accurately, but my conclusion is that long distance relationships can work. And it is really about like knowing the other person and what their wants and needs are. And both of you just need to have that trust, honesty, communication. If there's a conflict, be able to have a constructive conversation about it. And for it to work, you just have to communicate properly, and both people have to want to make the relationship work.